So like, for people who are starting out, like don't have any experience, and you have all these like job offers, you have to
Mhm.
go through all these applications and stuff. And in those applications, they're asking you to like submit all your call records or all your data and everything, but you don't have that. So
Mhm.
how do you get your foot in the door, basically?
Yeah. Well, the main thing is making sure you're actually going through the most optimal door. Based on what you've said there, you're going through the door that everyone goes through, right? So it means that you're going through 50 to 100 different candidates. And when people look through those applications, I'll tell you what, all of the things you submit, they don't check. All they're going to look at is, oh, how much revenue has this person made? Whereabouts are they from? Right? Because another thing that you've got, and obviously everyone here, we have to be always honest with each other at all times, is you've got the accent that plays against you as well, Ricky, sometimes. But
Yeah.
sometimes you can turn that on its head and make it into a positive. It gives you every reason to work that much harder, dial in your skill set a lot more, and you have to be a lot more creative in making it work for you. Right? Because there's that sometimes that stigma of like, oh, people with accents aren't as good at sales, which is for me, I think it's bollocks. Excuse my French. I find that that's really important is to figure out a way to stand out. Now, I go down the branding route. That's the route that's worked really, really well for me. But as far as the doors you want to get into, it's like that approach that I mentioned earlier, the top down, right? How can you actively solve problems for business owners? The good news is, Ricky, you've had a bit of DM setting experience. You've kind of gone in and helped with CRMs. I speak to business owners all the time that like, man, help us with our CRM. We don't know what we're doing with it. We don't know how to organize it, make sure we all, get the list sorted out. And then you can come in and act as like a problem solver for that originally, right? What you can do is you can funnel hack a company essentially. So go into a company that you want to work for. Once again, I don't know why these thumbs ups pop up, but anyways, you come into a company, you go through their email list, you maybe get a call from a setter and you figure out what their SOP is. And if you see any breakages or things that are not going right with their funnel, you can say, hey, I noticed that there was this issue with your funnel earlier. I would suggest this, like maybe put a Loom video across, send that to solve a mini problem, and then it'll get them more open to speaking with you because you are solving a potential issue there. Right. So you want to at least get them curious, asking a question to understand more about you. When you get that response, and that can be from like their sales manager, their salespeople, closers or setters, um, the business owner themselves if they're very much in the weeds, right? So this doesn't have to be just one person you do it to. Once you get them asking about you, and then you can talk more about your intentions. Yeah, so I'm hoping that this does solve a problem for you. I actually have reached out because I'm very interested in being a part of your team to actually phone set. Now, I know that you've, and once again, address the accent straight away. I'll be like, I know that I've got a very, very thick accent, but that's
Yeah.
actually the very reason why I do very, very well when it comes to setting and have proved it in the past on the DMs. So let me share with you a sales call. You tell me if it's terrible or if it's good. If it's good, let me know if you're open to working together. If it's bad, give me feedback and I'll work on myself and improve. And you're just preventing all of the objections there and then. It's like, check this call, see how you feel. If from there you like it, we'll talk more. If not, no problem. And what I would do
Yeah.
from here is I would film role play. So anybody that's in this group, I would say, hey, I just want to do a role play with someone so I can show my sales skills in action. Get like 2 or 3 role plays in of you doing a full discovery, like a triage call, like over Zoom, so they can see like your body language, facial expressions, all those kind of things. Get like 2 or 3 really good ones in there. And then that's going to be kind of your pitch when you do solve a mini problem for a business owner, sales manager, setter, whatever that might be. So that would really help. Yeah, Michael's available to help there, which is really good. So yeah, like that'll be the main thing that I would say, man, is once you get that all dialed in, you've got your assets, then it's all about using that strategy on repeat, finding the businesses, and then yeah, doing the outreach to solve problems from there. So that's what I would do to approach companies, and that's how you easily get into a company without having to apply, for a cold post on a job,
Yeah.
recruiting funnels. And don't get me wrong, recruiting works, but they're literally going for the cream of the crop because recruiters get paid on a placement and retention oftentimes, right? So they are looking at the best of the best. Even if I like, for example, when I was setting, if I was doing these applications, I know I wouldn't be the very best in there. I'd probably be maybe around, just below the top tier, mid to top, but I wouldn't have had a chance. So I focused on getting in through the third door, which means that every interview that I've ever had, it's always been very, very easy and very simple. Even for like the biggest companies that are 3 million a month and beyond. Seventh level Pompa program, legendary marketer was pretty much the same. So yeah, always going through the third door, mate. That's going to be what gives you the most access.
And build that skill set up. by doing like role plays and like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just literally, what you want to do is you want to create assets, and the assets for your business is your examples of where you show success, show competence, and that would be in those like short role plays that you do, or like maybe if you have your own set up sales script that you use on different offers. Like, hey, this is actually my script that I would use if I was to set some calls for your offer. Let me know how you feel about the script, right? And like all these little assets, you solve a problem initially, get them curious about you, and that's when you start to showcase exactly what your business is about. And that's when you're actually performing and showing up as more of a business owner rather than just, I'm an employee and I want a job. Because
Yeah.
employees don't do that. They're just like, they apply and just hope something happens. They use the old hopium strategy. And hopium is a drug you definitely don't want to take. That won't work here.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
That's it.